not as fast or as long as you said it was. And we've all been there.
Yeah.
It's not always as long as we say it is.
Overcompensating.
Right. Sometimes, we walk into a room and we say, my Zanpakuto is 8 miles long. And then right before we say, actually, I lied about that. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Volume 1, the anime and manga podcast where we highlight and discuss new series each week. But today we are back again with more Bleach, which means more Dunkai, which means that today my name is Josh Hogyoku Michaels, and I am joined by
Mehgan, the upside down world Perrine.
Good one.
I was like looking. I was trying to find.
I was struggling a little bit.
I was gonna think like maybe like Tosen to gone Tosen like too
Yeah.
soon.
I like that.
Or
gone
Gin.
Tosen, and then you got to think of one for Gin, right? So like, Gin bye.
Gin bye. Gin got.
Gin got. Welcome. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of our Dunkai series. If you're just listening to the audio version of this, then you might notice a little slight muffle in my voice. I am wearing a mask today, as you can see if you're watching the video version of this. I caught the you-know-what. YouTube, for whatever reason, I don't think likes when you say the actual thing.
It's just like so like they're just trying to like I don't know like cover it up like it's like
Yeah,
okay like we can't use the proper term.
Yeah,
like,
it's
you're
very
trying to silence
odd,
us.
dude. It's very weird and it makes no
Silence.
sense at all. But yeah, so I mean we're past the amount of quarantine days, so we are safe to record. But just on top of all the precautions that we took some extra precautions by putting a barrier between me and Mehgan, and of course, I'm wearing a mask just to be extra safe.
And we've done this before.
And we've
not
done this
that
before.
long ago.
This barrier, getting our money's worth out of this freaking barrier, dude. Hachi came in and put up a little. He put up a little barrier for us, dude.
I think it's like 3 months ago.
Yeah, I don't know,
that?
dude. It sucks. I'll just say this: it freaking sucks.
It's very annoying, and as a people that have had it both twice now, it's like okay, I'm not gonna allow this to happen to myself again.
Yeah, dude, I'm pretty done, Kai, with this.
Oh.
With this, and I never want this to happen ever again. It just throws a wrench into everything. So, yeah. Either way, we're here today, and we're ready to talk about Bleach.
Yes.
We're ready to talk about the final part of the Arrancar Downfall Arc. This is the second to last video in our Dunkai series. We have one more after this before we're able to finally watch the 1,000-Year Blood War arc and
My goodness.
react to the new episodes, but also read the chapters that coincide with the episodes so that we can kind of compare and contrast and just have a discussion on both. But, I will say getting to the end of this, and we talked about it a little bit off mic not too long ago, but getting to the end of this was so satisfying, and I was so glad to have read what we read and for it to kind of resonate the way it resonated. I feel like it's been this is for people who don't know, this is a reread technically for me, but reread meaning I haven't read this series since high school, which for me was a very long time ago. A lot of it is foggy, and I say that every episode, but I just feel like this rediscovery, this reread of Bleach it's been a rocky road. A lot of things weren't exactly as I remembered them being, and it's been super interesting, the whole journey. But I will say, like, getting to this point is so satisfying, and it makes everything up until this point, it just makes it so much better, I feel like, if that makes sense. But Mehgan, how did you feel about this ending to this arc? Because this is the end of, well, for now, this is the end of, at least as far as we know, the end of Aizen, and that's been building up since pretty much kind of the first chapter. But he's been the big bad almost the whole time.
Yeah, it is kind of I mean, I've read stories before where there is like a throughout big bad, kind of like, I mean, spoilers for Berserk, I guess. You know who I'm talking about, who like you get to spend time with, sure, but throughout the story he is kind of like the main guy. But you know, he fights along the way other villains and stuff like that. Like Aizen being the top villain was something that definitely I've read before, but it felt satisfying, and I don't know if it felt more satisfying that it was like a good ending of this, or I was just like, okay, Aizen's out. And that's my honest opinion, because I mean, there's so much build up to defeating him, to Ichigo defeating him, and I just felt like, I mean, we spent so much time with more fights, and maybe it was intentional, which I can totally understand if it was, but I just felt like it was so rushed, and there was so many other fights that got more time than like the biggest one between Aizen and Ichigo. I just felt kind of like, oh, okay,
right.
I guess like I'm, you know, but
yeah, I do feel that too. Especially the Tosin and Gin fight, like just to me went by in the blink of an eye. We spent so much more time, and like you said, it might be very purposeful, but we spent so much more time with and on so many other Arrancar fights. It just felt like when we finally arrived here, everything happened so fast, like so incredibly fast. Like I felt like Tosin was there 1 second, gone the next. Gin,
I mean, he literally
there 1
was,
second, gone the next. Like, and even like you said, yeah, with Aizen too, it went by really, really fast. But I kind of preferred that. I mean, I almost wish, and again, this is complete transparency. Bleach is a series that's near and dear to my heart, and it's a series that I love, and it's a series that I've loved since I was a 16-year-old boy, and I'm now a 32-year-old man. So, you know, it's been with me almost half my life, I guess. Yeah, like I do feel like in hindsight, in retrospect, Kubo told the story he wanted to tell, and I respect him for that. But me personally, my personal preference, I would have liked if a lot of these fights that we saw throughout Hueco Mundo were shortened. And I personally, I understand that people get different things from stories and like different things in stories.
Exactly.
But I personally didn't need every single person to have a super long fight. There were details, there were beats, there were important bits of information.
There were moments.
There was growth.
There was growth. But I mean, you know, as again, like personal preference for me, like even kind of with, I mean, I make it as an example, but like Hell's Paradise too, with like the I guess the power scaling, like the power, the world,
the power system, and how it kept being explained over and over and over.
Yeah. That's kind of how it felt with the Hueco Mundo arc, just like a little bit. Like if it was a little bit shorter, and they even spent like, you know, Kubo put that time into like 1 or 2 less Arrancar fights to put into like the end fight. I just feel like it fed into more Ichigo like becoming like super OP'd, you know, and just like being, it fed into it more, I guess, how short the fight was, because like Aizen's like, I mean, he's whooping everyone's ass. There's like 4 captains on his ass, and like they cannot touch him. The main guy, the older guy, Yamamoto, like is, you know, going toe to toe. I mean, it's like, oh well, you know, you did that, but guess what? That wasn't the end of that. Like they were back and forth a little bit, where I feel like Ichigo and Aizen, you know, Ichigo's like, no more talking. And Aizen was getting upset because he was losing, versus like them going back and forth, Ichigo kind of like faltering a little bit and like having to, like, it just felt like he's already won, I guess, towards the end. And I was satisfied in being like, yes, like they finally won. Like they finally won against Aizen. Like, fuck yeah, like this guy sucks. But a part of me was like, damn, I wish we spent a little more time on that fight, just because I felt like, okay,
Yeah.
I mean, I know Kurahara. What is it? Urahara?
Yeah,
Urahara was
Urahara,
there,
yeah.
and they were like working together, which was cool. And it was cool to see more to Urahara because I feel like he's just kind of been like in the shadows, a little sneaky. But yeah, that's just kind of how I felt. I mean, this was definitely really, really, these last couple chapters in this arc was like, I mean, I forget my favorite arc. It'd probably be like the past arc.
The past arc was
the Vizard
top
arc.
tier, and the Vizard arc top tier.
But since then, this is my favorite chunk of like volumes that I've read of Bleach so far.
And I forgot to mention too, the chunk of chapters specifically is chapters 384 through 423.
Mm-hmm.
But what I liked a lot, and I definitely get that, and I definitely agree that it did feel at times like it was rushed and super short. But I just like that we finally got the most I think we'll ever get from Aizen out of like understanding who he is.
Yeah.
And I feel like I kind of always have understood who he is, who he was. I feel like I always kind of understood what he wanted. I think it's more clear here, and it's solidified here. In that, he is somebody, or was somebody, who just wanted and felt like he never had an equal
or a challenge.
An equal or a challenge in life at all. With Urahara, I think that he felt like Urahara matched him intellectually, but not physically. Yamamoto, I feel like he felt matched him, or even in both cases, like surpassed him physically, but not mentally. He never felt like he had that equal, someone who was his equal in both, mental and physical. So,
I mean, maybe like at that moment too, because they kind of mentioned like, the only one who can like defeat Aizen pretty much is like someone on his like same level. So that's kind of a cool example, because you do get Urahara at the end and you get Ichigo, which are both matching him in both things, teaming up on him.
Right, but I think, I don't know. I think he was looking for that in one person. I think.
No, I know, but he couldn't.
I see what you're saying. But also Yamamoto was fighting him and Urahara was fighting him too. Not exactly at the same time.
I mean, like at the same time. Maybe that's intentional. But I mean, again, it's like, I just at this point, I mean, I get like Aizen's determination, but just having him be, I want to be a god because I just want. I want people to fear me like that. I like more than being like I, was kind of lonely. Well, I think
it's loneliness is mentioned, right? Ichigo mentions loneliness in his blade, feeling loneliness from his blade. But I also just think that it is like that he is like that is the only thing that can stimulate him. Mentally, physically, the only thing that can stimulate him is
loneliness.
No, is striving to achieve these things. That's, how I really interpret it, because just playing the part of a soul reaper or just playing the part of a whatever, like, isn't stimulating to him. It is almost torture to him to reduce himself to be so average. And I think by right, he feels like he has the power or the right, I guess, to change or shape the world how he sees fit, which is what he tells Urahara at a certain point too. Like, you are just as smart as I am, and you go along with the status quo. Why? He's so confused. He doesn't understand, because he says something to the effect, and I wrote it down, and I'll reiterate it and repeat it verbatim when we get there. But he says something like, you don't get to just like view the world. You can shape the world. Something to that effect. And I think he's just like, this the only thing that, challenge might be a word, but also just stimulation. Like, I feel like he just feels like he's the most alive when he's striving to achieve these things. And that's just like with someone at his level of talent, strength, intellect. That's the only thing he can do. Yeah, he's bored.
Literally bored out of his mind. It's like, bro, get a Nintendo Switch.
Get a hobby.
Yeah. Paints, put some little boats into bottles. Like, don't try to kill everyone in Soul Society.
Figure something else out. You know? Just at least like
try. Go to a Zumba class.
Go
do bingo.
I guess bingo, but
you like bingo? Have you played?
Of course I've played Bingo. Who hasn't played Bingo? Of course I played Bingo.
No, like the stamps.
I mean, Bingo's just a game of luck, really.
It's fun.
It's just like, I like games of strategy, okay? That's why I like Magic the Gathering. That's why I like other card games. Hearthstone, I played for a while. Strategy.
I'm literally talking about Bingo.
I know, Bingo is just luck. And I don't like playing a game.
You said I don't like Bingo. I like Magic the Gathering.
No, yeah, because Bingo.
You can't compare them at all.
I feel like there's more strategy in Uno than there is in Bingo. At least you can hold on to cards, you can keep, you can make some logical
You're
guesses.
pulling an Eisen right now.
Bingo is just
I don't
luck.
play Bingo. It's all about luck. I'm about games of strategy.
Yeah, dude.
Magic the Gathering. I'm like, you can't win.
That's an old man's game, too. That's an old man and a young man's game, just like Bingo. They've been around both maybe the same amount of time. Magic the Gathering's been around a long time.
I feel like Bingo's definitely older.
I'm sure.
It's pretty basic because it's just on luck.
I mean, you said it, not me. Anyway, but yeah, the other thing, too, that was really interesting that was revealed here is the Hogyoku's like true power, I guess, which was that essentially, and I am generalizing, but essentially it can in the immediate vicinity sense the hearts of those around it and grant them their truest desire within reason. But it explains why Orihime got her power, why Chad got his power, and it explains why Ichigo, or why Rukia, what happened to Rukia, and Aizen explains why everything that's happened to Ichigo up until this point has happened to Ichigo. Now, on one hand, right, it wasn't a mind fuck. Mm-mm. It wasn't this moment where I pulled back and was like,
I was like,
cracked.
Oh, okay.
I was like, oh, okay. On one hand, it was satisfying. But on the other hand, like, I do see how that could be a very frustrating reveal.
Well, again, like, especially, I kind of noticed it a lot in these last couple chapters. And it kind of like came more to my attention because we have seen, people use certain abilities or like, oh, that was my Bankai, but it wasn't my full Bankai. I'm gonna get ready for my full Bankai, and they're like, wait a minute. Get ready for my other Bankai that I was keeping a secret from. Like, there's so many like reveals, and I felt like I felt this way more in this last couple of chapters. It was like, here's a reveal, but then that reveal has a reveal.
Yeah.
You feel me? Like, it was very much like that, like the Tozen reveal of him being like, it wasn't actually justice, it was for revenge. And it's like, oh, okay. And then like,
or he also, I think, says that like revenge is justice,
for him. I mean, for him. But that was a reveal, and then like his death, I guess, was another like reveal. It just felt like it wouldn't stop at one reveal. Like, you knew something had to be one upped every time someone did something, especially with the Aizen thing. Like, it was like, oh, the Hyogoku, like, we know that. But did you know that I've done everything in your life thus far?
Well, no, it was, if you want to go in order of reveals, it was like, I have fused with the Hogyoku. Yeah. It is a part of me. Now I am one with it. I have subdued it. I have become its master. That's one face crack moment. Damn. Next face crack moment. Actually, what you thought the Hogyoku did the entire time was actually not what it really did. What it really did was this, and then to go even further.
Yeah.
It goes even further and further and further. With also, I felt that with Gin a little bit, and then again, I do love Bleach, and I feel like I just want to be clear because I feel like sometimes on the internet, if you have anything negative, or not even negative, but if you have a criticism, a critique of anything, and it's automatically viewed as you not liking something, which is just not the case. Mm-hmm. But I do feel that a lot in Bleach, that trope, and I felt it a lot with Gin. Him telling Ichigo, like, this is my Bankai. let me go through and explain to you exactly how my Bankai works. It moves. It not only is it 8 miles long, but it can expand and retract 5 times faster than a clap, like, and
Game
then
gotta like that.
Yeah. And then later him saying like, actually, I lied about that.
Oh.
It doesn't do that at all. It doesn't. And it just, it's just that kind of, like you said, and I know you said it as a joke. And again, it's not like you're tearing the series apart, but it is
it's just something
you had
that
this moment where you said everything doesn't need to be a reveal.
It's just a realization. I mean, with other series too, like we do get fake out deaths. There are series that do if someone dies, they're probably not dead. They're gonna come back. And again, like at the end of this arc, it's like,
yeah.
I mean, he's gotta get it. Like.
Well, because at the end he loses his Shinigami powers.
Yes. And I was just like waiting to be more when we get to that part. But yeah, I was just like, okay, like, I mean, it's not bad. It's just like, I know something, like once something's done, I just don't believe it to be true.
Right.
Like usually a lot of the time in Bleach.
Yeah.
Unless it's like very concrete. Like Momo, like she's probably not dead.
Yeah.
She's probably not dead. They probably cured her. Like there's just so many things. And that's in other stories that I've read too. And like it's not that big of an issue. But it does, if it's done a lot, if it's done, a crazy amount, it does like kind of steer me away from like actually like putting any thought into being like, maybe they're actually gone. Like it's usually like, I know they're gonna, like, it's fine. Like there's no like stakes, I guess. And with this later half, I mean, like Tosen and Gin, like that was really cool to see. Tosen, I mean, not so much, but the Gin thing.
Gin's like farewell and him and Matsumoto's like
was really good.
Resolution, which wasn't really one at all, but to them, that's what they both kind of needed, was beautiful. Like beautiful. And that exchange of dialogue where she says, you didn't leave anything behind, but you probably knew I couldn't handle it if you did. I love that about you. I mean, it was just
great.
Yeah, it was very beautiful.
It was great. But I mean, that's like, pretty much it. It's just, I know once something, that's what it kind of like makes it hard to keep track of everyone's abilities just because they're always changing, I guess. Or like maybe some stay the same. But then I get so like caught up in like, well, that person said it was this, but then now it's this. And then can they do something? So many characters for sure. So many abilities, so many people that haven't even like, fully explained all of their abilities. So it is kind of like difficult to follow along sometimes just because I like, I don't like have the best memory. So I'm like, okay, write that down. Oh wait, no, that's null now. That's null. Yeah. Okay, write this down. It is kind of hard to keep track of it for sure. For me personally.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know if anyone like, for me, like just my my memory, I just like forget pretty easily. So,
and I think especially too when it's always flip flopping and changing, it's hard to keep track, right, of what's real and what's not, or what's been changed. But I get that. I do get that, and I really do. While we say our criticisms or our small critiques that we have personally, that are our own just personal opinions. I do think that is why we both felt like Hueco Mundo overall could have been a lot shorter, because when you look at talking about so many characters, there were, again, so many characters that never really got moments. Like Orihime never really got a moment. She got small moments. But a lot of what we got to see from her was her just kind of, again, internally and externally struggling a lot, which is, I think, important to see in a character, to see a character struggle and to come to terms with like not knowing like what to do or how to help. I do enjoy seeing that.
We got more out of Orihime before she went to Hueco Mundo.
Right.
I mean, that was the most I think we got of her, like, building or like training with Rukia in order to fight with everyone, and like her, at the hospital with Ichigo and things like that. I really was like, oh yeah, like this is awesome. I just feel like that tends to happen a lot in Bleach, because Ichigo is the main character, but we're like really latching on to these other characters, which we've talked about before, like the Vizars and like, some of the other captains too. But Orihime and Chad and even Uryu sometimes kind of just like fall on the wayside, not in a bad way, but it is just like, damn, I would
Yeah,
like
Chad got
even Rukia and Renji.
Oh yeah, they all kind of got maybe one moment. Chad got an awesome moment, one of the best moments when he first got there, and then after that, nothing. Renji and Ishida or Uryu had their own kind of thing with that professor, but I really do feel like a lot of those fights, and I understand that, we were being shown and, learning more about the Arrancar, but I just really feel like now that we're at the end of it, I just would have preferred personally if it would have been shorter. I think it would have been so much better, in my personal opinion, and I would have enjoyed it so much more. And I enjoyed it a lot, but I would have enjoyed it so much more. I think if some of these fights had been cut, or if the arc in its entirety had been shaved down a little bit, because I just didn't need to see, all the fights that I saw. But it is why I really like the fight with Aizen and Ichigo, because it wasn't drawn out. I understand what you're saying. Like, you felt like it should have been, or it could have been, because it was the big bad final boss fight.
Usually, I don't watch series or read manga for fights necessarily. That's not really something I look for when I'm like wanting to read a manga. So for me to say like I wish that fight was longer, which is pretty crazy, because if it's resolved, if Ichigo's abilities are able to surpass, and Urahara's abilities are able to surpass and outsmart, Aizen, like, that's cool, like, that's great. But I feel like we spent so much time, in Huecamundo for sure, just with an Arrancar we'll never see again. Well, I don't know that we'll ever see again, but it feels like that's it, that chapter is closed. And that's what kind of upsets me a little more. It's like, this is the big bad. It's the big bad of the last 48 chapters with Ichigo, the main protagonist. I just felt like I'm sure it was intentional. I'm sure it was just like a thing of like, he decided that he just kind of was not willing to fight anymore. I mean, what was the exact words? The
exact words were that in Ichigo's like final moments, before passing out.
Ichigo's or Aizen's?
Ichigo's words about Aizen before he passed out were, he questioned if Aizen wanted to lose his powers, and he sensed, loneliness. It could have been a lot of things, because Urahara says that it was because of his weakened state that the Hyogoku rejected him and didn't see him as its master anymore. But it also, again, being this thing that can sense someone's true desires, even if it wasn't something that Aizen himself was truly aware of or conscious of, if it was somewhere in the depths of his heart, the Hyogoku could have picked up on that and,
And I mean, the highlight for me for the Aizen and Ichigo fight was definitely, obviously seeing Aizen lose his cool was like so great, because I mean, we haven't seen that from him. We haven't seen that side of him actually becoming like very angry and very annoyed and like losing his cool and losing that ability to like talk shit, I guess, and like, poke people in a certain way. Like, that's what I really liked about this fight. And I guess if it was longer, it would have just been more of that. So to just see it in like short bursts like that, because we never seen that side of the character, like that was definitely probably a highlight.
And a highlight for me too was, number one, really feeling like we finally achieved
Bankai,
but real growth with Ichigo. Ichigo felt like
his hair.
His hair did grow. But yeah, I feel like he finally started to become an adult a little bit, especially with the exchange between him and his dad, which was also a highlight. Like, getting to see him and Ishin together.
And I was going to ask you, and then I was like, you know what? No, I want to find out for myself. Because I have it's like Ichigo's like, you're half human, half
blank.
Blank either being like hollow, blank being devil blank being Zamparto blank being
See, the thing is, and I think this is where like other
Latino.
people right have
You're half human.
yeah, you're half human, half Latino. Which is fucked up because what are you trying to say, Mehgan? Damn.
It was just stupid.
But yeah, I think a lot of people's frustration comes from Ichigo always seeming like he has whatever he needs to have in that moment. Whatever he is facing, he seems to have. If he's facing a hollow, he is a hollow. If he's facing an Arrancar, he can kind of become, a Vasto Lord or an Arrancar.
Yeah.
He can always become, and he always seems like he has whatever he needs, like from birth, which is just something dormant inside of him that he's not aware of yet. Like he always has exactly what he needs and has just been given exactly what he needs to handle anything that comes his way. And I think that's what some people's like major frustrations are too, with Ichigo. But, I will say that we do get to find out what else he has inside of him. Despite how that might sound, we do get to find out what else he has is a part of him. And it is, I think, satisfying for me, finally being done with the Arrancar Downfall Arc or the Arrancar Aizen, arc, I guess, or just Aizen in general after Soul Society, after everything, is just, I personally am excited to move on to this next big bad, because in my memory, I just feel like this is a breath of fresh air, and it fits so well into the world, the series. It's what the 1,000-Year Blood War arc is going to cover. And I really do enjoy these people and what they who they are and what they represent and how it affects the team or how it affects our characters. Like I really do in my memory like look back on it very fondly. And I love Aizen. But again, I am just really glad to be closing this chapter. It was an up and down journey. It was, there were points throughout where, even if you go back throughout these episodes, you could see us really excited about like the Vizards, really excited about the past arc, really excited about even the fight where they were having to guard the pillars.
Yeah.
And every fight in that chunk of chapters, to me, that was how I like to consume fights. Like that's what I look for in fights. We were learning about each individual person's fighting style, how they believed someone should fight, what they believed battle was, how it should be viewed and respected. Like it informed their beliefs, it informed their character. That was just beautiful. Yeah. But there were so many other fights that I just didn't give a shit about. And so it's been an up and down journey. But I really did feel like satisfied by the time I got to the end. Even though I can again see how it can frustrate some people that it just ends up being that Aizen was behind everything the
Aizen
entire
was behind
time.
Everything and then goes to prison.
And he says, at one point too, he says, you believed me. Because, he told Ichigo something in Soul Society.
Yeah.
And then Ichigo says, it tells him something different in Karakura. And he says, you said this in Soul Society. And he goes, you believed me? I just think that, again, you can even still, you can never really take anything at super face value.
Exactly.
But the Ishin, like finally, like seeing them see each other as Soul Reapers in their Shinigami, robes was really satisfying. And that moment that flashes back all the way to the Grand Fisher moment between Ichigo and Rukia. And Ichigo is like remembering that conversation with Rukia and applying it to this moment with his father and telling his father, like, his dad's
it's
like,
all good. Let me know when you want to.
His dad's like, I'll tell you, I'll explain everything. And he's like, there's a reason you didn't, and you'll tell me when you're ready, and I trust you. That was so...
And his dad's like, oh, who are you?
Yeah, that was so satisfying because, again, Ichigo has always been someone up until this point who has felt like he has, like, been on the brink of learning something and then being pushed and being tested and feeling like...
He's a busy guy.
Yeah. He's, like, kind of, like, reverting.
Yeah.
So it was really cool to see a lesson stick and to see growth. But, you know, I do want to say, I really enjoyed this chunk of chapters a lot as well. And in terms of like everything we've read so far, this is up there in terms of like most enjoyable chunk of chapters that we've read and covered. So with all that said, let's just start going through it beat by beat so that we make sure we get to and cover everything that happened in these chunk of chapters. And just get to share our thoughts on all of them. So where we open up is with Tosen versus Hisagi and Komamura, Tosen in his hollowified form. And that's when he talks about revenge. And we get to see his resurrection.
Disgusting.
Crazed cricket form.
Disgusting.
It was
so
gross.
Nasty.
Yeah.
Ugh.
It was very off-putting.
It was really gross.
And it was funny. Like, that was a funny moment when he was talking to Komamura and he was like, I can finally see and you're ugly.
Yeah, he's like, you're uglier than I even imagined. And he's even like, bitch, have you looked in the mirror? Like, his little face, his little fox face is like, okay.
Yeah, he's like, consider the source, you freak.
Yeah, he's like, I could finally see. And I'm like, bro, your eyes are like this. Like, you can't even, are you looking at him? Like, you have to look at him from the side and
They got a wide range of vision, you know?
I guess so.
And that's, maybe some predator prey shit, because they say predators have it on the eyes on the front.
Yeah.
And
prey
has on the sides. And I'm just saying, Aizen's were a little side eyes, so maybe he was, he liked to think himself to be the predator, but maybe he was just prey.
I mean, he was a simp.
And you know what? Someone said something in the comments when I went off about that the first time. And they were like, you can't call him a simp. Like, you're just generalizing his situation, whatever. I mean, it's just a funny way to say, it's just a funny way, a term to use to like describe like what he kind of is. Like, it's
he was
a
down
funnier,
bad. I mean, he was
more modern colloquialism,
a
modern way to put it. But it is kind of like he was down bad. Like,
he was down bad for someone who maybe he thought that he would have a chance, but she was like, no.
It was literally a person who he loved in a different way, friend zoned him, got with somebody else.
Yeah.
And like, never, it was almost like the way it was presented to, like she never even considered Tosen to ever be like someone that they would view that way.
Yeah.
And was just... Which is sad. And then, got with somebody else, joined the Shinigami, the Soul Reapers, and was killed, and Tosen was pissed. And that was his whole motivation. His whole motivation was being friend-zoned, was because he was friend-zoned. And yeah, it was a childhood friend, someone he really cared about. But he also, like, made it very clear that he had more feelings for her than just a friend.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah. We do get to see, though, Komamura really pleading with him.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
even Hisagi.
Yeah, I did like the whole like back and forth of like, if this we're actually, we're actually enemies. Like we were always destined to fight. If this is how you really feel, like we're gonna fight. And he's just like, yes. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, they were destined to cross blades, and we got to see Hisagi flashing back to Tosen, really teaching him how to be a better captain or at that time like assistant captain or just Shinigami, Soul Reaper, soldier, and really coaching him about fear, which was something that he had said in his fight when he was protecting the pillars, which I latched onto and I loved in that moment as well. But it was a very touching and a sad moment. It does seem like in his final moments, Tosen did come around at the very end on the verge of death.
Yeah, he was in tears, and he's even saying like, to lose you would leave a hole in my heart. Like, that was pretty rough. It was pretty sad.
Yeah, that was Komamura saying that.
Yeah, Komamura said that, and I was just like, oh. And I mean, you know, Tosin kind of reacted to that and was just like, damn, like, you know, these people, like, they never, like, had ill intentions. Like, were they even responsible? Like, I'm putting this on people that weren't even responsible for these crimes. You know, like, that's what I was like, damn, you spent like your whole life or half your life or whatever just infiltrating these people, becoming friends with these people, gaining their trust for revenge on this friend that you had. And then you're like, damn, but these are my friends. But now I'm fucking blown up.
Yeah, and Aizen blew him up in his final moments.
Blew him up.
And that was pretty fucking sad.
I mean, I don't know. Have we seen someone get blown up? Like,
but that's the thing about Aizen too, you know. And I understand how this can be frustrating. Aizen, even with Gin later, like, and we have seen Aizen do that. He did that with the Arrancar too, when he was finally like, all right, I'm done with all the Arrancar.
Yeah.
But Aizen, every time like he kills somebody, even when he kills Tosin and later when he kills Gin, he's just funny to me because even when like Ishin and Urahara and everybody are like doing things, he's always like, yeah, I knew. Like, yeah, I knew, Tosin, I knew you were weak, and I knew that, you know, that you weren't as really committed, and that you would fall victim to your emotions or conscience or the bonds that you've created would get the best of you. I knew, but I just wanted to see.
I wanted to see it for myself.
Yeah.
He like gaslights himself into thinking like
with
he
Gin,
didn't
too.
see this coming. Like, okay, bro.
With Gin too, he told him the same thing. He's like, I knew what you were up to the whole time since day one.
Bro,
I knew.
You thought you were slick?
He
and
said,
it's like, okay, like
but you're a clever guy, and I just wanted to see how a clever guy would try to kill me.
Oh my gosh.
And he would do that all the time, like every time like Urahara would do something or Ishin would do something.
Yeah, someone would like go against him.
He would be like, what are you doing? What do you think you're doing? You think that's actually going to work?
God.
And then it would kind of work.
Yeah.
And then
I knew it would work.
He would go like, well, yeah, I knew that was going to happen. So I, have this contingency in place. Like even with like Yamamoto, like you kind of saw that with Wonder Wise too. I knew you were going to be a challenge. Like I knew this was going to be, a fight. So I modified Wonder Wise to be able to do this. And it's just funny. But Shinji though, we get to see a little bit of Shinji.
Yeah.
And I love Shinji, probably my favorite character in all of Bleach. It just has to be. Shinji's Zanpakuto, we get to see its power. And it is the upside down world.
So sick.
Up is down, left is right. Not just that, forward is backwards, bottom is top. Front is back. Everything is reversed. Everything is reversed. And that's like, and even the way he describes it to Aizen, the more combat experience you have, the more you rely on these instincts, the more confusing and harder it is to adjust. This is an amazing ability. And I really wish, because not even, we're talking about not even getting a lot of time with the Aizen Ichigo fight. Like with a lot of these fights, like with the Shinji Aizen, which Shinji was like the one person who was really invested. I would argue more so invested
than like Hitsugaya.
Well, then Hitsugaya to an extent.
To an extent because of Momo, but
more than like I feel like Ichigo.
Yeah.
Like Shinji has been 25 years or however many years like in the making, and I feel like we didn't really get to see like this confrontation didn't last for too long. It was very quick.
Yeah.
Very quick. But it was fucking cool as shit to see.
Because again, he's like fighting him and he's like, I knew you'd do that. And then he's like, how about that? And he's like, oh shit. And he cuts him a little bit.
Then we cut to Ichigo showing up and missing his first chance. He's still very afraid of his holified form, his Vasto Lord form, holification. He's still not quite comfortable. He doesn't really feel like he's very much in control.
Well, last time he went into it, he like stabbed Ishida.
Yeah.
He would be pretty wary after that. Wary?
Yeah, and I think it is just cool to see him again, kind of getting closer every fight, and whether it's by Aizen's design or not, like every fight, he is getting closer to really like accepting things about himself, understanding things about himself, confronting things within himself, like slowly but surely, every single fight. This is again something he's going to have to confront in order to acquire enough power to take out Aizen.
Yeah.
But the captains and the Vizard kind of fight Aizen for a while. That's when we get that Hitsugaya moment where he talks about hate too. That was an awesome exchange of dialogue.
Yeah.
They talk about, a true Shinigami, a dutiful Shinigami, not wielding his blade, not wielding a blade with hatred. And Aizen kind of throwing it right back at him, like, "Well, you're saying you don't have any hate for me?" And he's like, "Oh no, I fucking hate you, dude, and I'm so down to not be a Shinigami if it means taking you out."
He's like, "Damn."
I was like,
Aizen's
"Let's
such a
fucking
bitch.
go."
He's such a. I mean, he just if you don't listen to him, like if you truly do not listen to him, get earplugs or something. Like he would be way less. I mean, he just riles people up, and then they're just not able to think because even was it Kowamatsu? Fox guy?
Oh yeah, Kamawatsu or Komamura.
Komamura. Jesus.
Yeah,
so
I was like, who are you talking
Komamura,
about?
he even says like, I was this close to like, killing him is probably gonna kill me. Like, thank you for stepping in, Ichigo.
Yeah.
It's like because Aizen's just talking shit.
Yeah.
Talking shit about Tosin, talking shit about Momo, talking shit about like anyone he can talk shit on, he's there. And he's just riling people up to get them to come to him so he can slice them up.
Yeah.
Or blow them up.
Yeah.
Or blow them.
I mean, maybe, that would have been really cool to get to see.
Yeah. I'm like kind of disappointed that we didn't get to see that.
Oh, I could help
in these
you.
arcs.
I could help you achieve your dream of seeing them by sending you a couple links. There's a couple websites. One of them is a personal favorite of mine.
Oh,
and
what is it called?
The websites
are
called? Well, you can go to
www.hogyoku.com
and you could get that. You could go there, and they have some really good ones there. Or you can go to the Upside Down world is already kind of already implies, maybe I'm turning you upside down. There's a bunch of them. There's a bunch of them. If I wasn't still recovering from, an illness, I would be able to remember a few more right now.
Rattle them off.
Yeah, rattle them off.
Yeah.
But, Ho Gyoku is one, and then there's plenty others. And one of them I actually illustrated myself. Yeah. Yes.
Who's in it?
No, I mean, it's just like exactly what you said.
Aizen?
It's Aizen's in it for sure. Aizen's in it. Ishin is in it. Shinji's in it. Urahara's in it. Yeah.
Dang.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's good. It's really good stuff. It's really good stuff. But this is when we do get to see that the Shinigami and the Vizards think they're victorious.
Yes.
But of course, because of
Aizen's.
Yeah, Zanpakuto's ability that it was an illusion.
Of course it was.
They actually didn't stab him. They stabbed Momo, and Hitsugaya was the one delivering that blow to Momo, which is what makes it so emotional that he was the one to do it. And that was a moment that got me, seeing the emotion and the scream that he let out.
It was just like, how can he make like a situation even worse? Like Aizen, like that was just like, bro, like you killed her, and then she's fine, and then she's brainwashed by you, and then you make her die by the hands of her friend. Like,
I mean, that's true villain shit.
Momo got it the worst.
That's the most villain shit you could do.
Yeah, Momo got it the worst out of anyone in this deal.
I mean, yeah, she just got groomed. She got brainwashed.
Yeah, she did.
Got fucking all kinds of things.
Jesus.
But I also thought it was a cool note, like Ichigo was the one who saw, like, from a distance, he was like, everybody was celebrating a victory. Even Shinji was like, this is where the tables turn, huh, Aizen? And, Ichigo's looking from afar like, what the fuck are you guys doing?
Are you guys smoking crack?
Then it cuts to like the reveal that it was Momo. And it really did get me. Like it
did get me too. I was when I talked about reveals, because there are some good reveals in Bleach. Like some things that have been like, oh shit, like damn, really? Others have been like, oh, like that's crazy that there's another reveal on top of the reveal. But this reveal actually got me because I was like, oh my God, like why is she even there, first of all? Why would she show up? Like he must have told her to be there so that he could do that to her. She must have went willingly, right?
Well, she went willingly because
she was still fucked up though.
She was still a little fucked up.
So maybe he like spoke to her and was just like, Momo, I need you, because she kind of like, I don't know. I mean, maybe he did it not of her own will.
Well, yeah, I
probably.
Don't think, I mean, it's literally.
But it would not surprise me that she was like, okay.
I mean, the ability of his Zanpakuto is literal hypnosis. So it's like,
Yeah.
Everybody was affected by this hypnosis.
Yeah.
Her included.
They're like, how long has it been, Momo, that he's been fighting? He's a guy fighting. Crazy.
Yeah, and that was a crazy line too. When Shinji was like, when did you activate it? And he's like, when did I not activate it? Basically. That was a crazy moment. But Yamamoto, then we get Yamamoto versus Aizen, and Wonder Weiss kind of comes back for a moment. It was really cool to see Yamamoto being the head, the chief. We saw him versus the Arrancar and how he was able to take him out with ease. With Aizen, he is struggling a bit, but I love how he just calls him an upstart over and over and over again, and says that the reason he has been the head of Soul Society for over 1,000 years is because there just hasn't been anybody strong enough to replace him yet.
That's such a G thing.
Almost saying it in a way
such a G thing.
The moment there is, I'll step down, but there just hasn't been.
Just hasn't been anyone.
Like he's that, he's like the old guy from Hunter x Hunter, whose name I forget. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forget his name too.
Yeah.
They are very similar.
Yeah. Old and powerful.
Old and powerful.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Old and powerful and beautiful.
Are they in your? Is he in your?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Too? Yeah.
For sure.
Okay, I just want to make sure that you weren't like being like, I don't know, discriminating against age or anything.
It wasn't being like like it wasn't being ageist or anything.
Ageist, yeah.
I'm inclusive, baby. I got old people in there. I got Komamura in there.
Okay.
I got a little bit of something for everything in there. A little bit of something for everybody.
Okay.
Yeah, we got everything.
Yami?
Yami is not in there. Fuck Yami, dude. Yami is...
I knew you were going to say that.
Yami is tied up. If he is in there, because it's been a while, he's in there, he's tied up, and he's like being forced to watch everything.
Jesus.
And he's like, I want to get in there. And
they're like, no.
And they're like, no.
You're not allowed.
They cut Yami. Yeah.
But like not in like a...
he doesn't like being
cucked.
He
doesn't like it.
But,
it's
not a fetish
not
for him. It's a frustration.
No, yeah.
But this is a really cool moment too. Again, just seeing Yamamoto's strength. Aizen feeling like Yamamoto matches him in physical strength, but not intellect, and he has a contingency for that, which was Wonder Weiss.
Yeah.
Ichigo then strikes Aizen and reveals that he has fused with the Hogyoku, and that all of Ichigo's battles were by design.
It kind of is what, kind of parallels what Shinji told Aizen about like him being a traitor or whatever. He's like, or what was that? I mean, he's like, I knew when you were in your mother's womb.
Right.
Like Aizen was like, I knew what your whole life was gonna fucking be, pretty much. Like,
but that's that moment when he says, he says like, don't you think it was so convenient that this happened? And it is funny because like, I get, as a reader, like when a villain in a story is asking the protagonist that, and it's a story you've been reading the whole time, like the villain's kind of asking you too, right? Like, didn't you think it was weird that, didn't you think it was a little weird that you could just do this and that you were just able to do that? And me as the reader, I was like, no, Not really. I didn't think it was that weird.
Yeah.
But it does again make sense that this was why Ichigo was getting as strong as he was, why every battle was almost specifically designed, because every battle was specifically designed to like unlock something, untap something, and to make him stronger and realize something about himself. It was by design.
Of course.
But yeah, if you would have told, if Aizen would have asked me, I'd be like, yeah, not really. I mean, I guess I just thought I was like a quick learner. I guess I just thought I was kind of badass. I kind of just thought this was a shonen manga, and this is just how
That's how it works.
How it worked.
Which is not a bad thing.
Not a bad thing. I love it. Yeah, and he says, I haven't known this since just the day you met Rukia, but since the moment you were born, which was a big reveal because he says, you are human and ... And then that's when Ishin shows up and says, that's enough. And
Don't
we get
say
to finally
any longer.
see him, with Ichigo. Yeah.
Pretty crazy.
Awesome. Finally.
Yeah.
Finally, we get to see them together. Finally.
I was wondering when it would happen. I thought it was just going to be an ongoing thing in the story of like,
right.
Never reveals it.
Yeah. That's when we get that moment of growth from Ichigo, and we get to see Gin's Bankai when Ichigo and Gin kind of square off for a little bit. Aizen reveals the Hogyoku's true power, which is granting people's heart's true desire, which again is why everybody got their abilities and why everybody's abilities were awakening around him, all his friends. But because Chad and Orihime were closer to Rukia, and I guess maybe their desires were just stronger, they were given some pretty incredible gifts.
Abilities. Yeah.
But it all originates from the Hogyoku. And we finally get that reveal in this moment, too. That's when Urahara shows up and tries to stop Aizen, and Yoruchi shows up to help. Now, this was fucking awesome, dude. Like, you know what? Bleach doesn't get enough affordable figures, but I want Yoruchi in this, like, out with these gauntlets or whatever the fuck she has. Like, this is so sick. I need a figure of that when she's coming down. Like, damn. I was like, this is
so
fire.
Sick.
Like, wear this all the time. Use this all the time.
Do it.
Do it. Do it.
And then Aizen just goes Deadpool on everyone.
In what way?
He wears that mask.
Oh, right. Well, he gets it's a cocoon. He comes in a cocoon. You felt like that was Deadpool?
I don't know. He just is masked. He looked kind of scary.
I felt like it was more like an anti-Venom kind of look, if anything. Yeah, because it was all white. It kind of looked.
I mean, it didn't look exactly like Deadpool, but it's just the face with the mask with the no lips and the no nose and the eyes only.
Spider-Man kind of has that too, though. Did he look like Spider-Man?
No, but he didn't have the cat eyes. He just had regular eyes.
Oh,
and he had the hooded nature.
Oh, the little hood.
The little hooded nature of his head.
The little hooded nature. Right. Did you like how Aizen looked? I mean, it's not.
He's scary.
It's not exactly right here that happens. But
oh, sorry.
Yeah, apology accepted.
Yeah.
Apology accepted.
Sorry, I got a little too ahead of my notes here.
You got excited.
Sorry.
You got excited to talk about Deadpool Aizen or Hooded Nature.
The Hooded Nature.
Which is what it sounds like.
That's his book, The Hooded Nature of Deadpool Aizen.
Yeah, what is Aizen uncircumcised? And it's the Hooded Nature. It's Hooded Nature. I mean, because it's just what
you
nature...
would know that. It's probably what you put in your freaking art.
Oh yeah, that was part of I get my story, my personal story.
You're putting it on me.
I actually sometimes when I write my notes down, my own personal story kind of gets intertwined, and I have to separate them.
That's kind of just like daily life though too. You put your art into your life.
Oh yeah, well that's beautiful.
You get it mixed up.
Well, that's beautiful though. That's beautiful. I could only hope. But Ishin uses a Getsuga Tensho right here too, which was really cool. Also, the name of their Zanpakuto sounds super similar. They mentioned that him and Ichigo's, They mentioned that they can't feel Aizen's spirit pressure because he is just on a completely different level. Gin is kind of toying with Ichigo in this moment, and it makes more sense once his sort of true intentions are revealed. And he is just he's really trying to, when you go back and revisit it, he's trying to like let Ichigo get away, and Ichigo's just kind of not going away.
I mean, it's Ichigo. He's like, no, I'm not going to run away from this fight right now. And he's like, you got everything you want. Your friends are safe. Like, oh no, that's what Aizen said in the beginning. Like, are you really mad at me? How could he be mad at me?
Right.
How could he really, truly hate me?
Well, that's kind of what I meant. And it's crazy that, at least Kubo is self-aware and Aizen as a character is self-aware, because Shinji, again, lost everything. Yeah. His position, his life, his whole world was taken away from him. His friends, his life was changed and never the same. He felt like he was abandoned by everybody in Soul Society. He was an outcast. And when Ichigo comes across Aizen's like, yeah, I didn't really like, your friends are fine. You're fine.
I have a long list of people to get to that I have grievances with. Yeah. You're not on the same level as them, so I don't know why you're even here, to be honest with you.
But he is questioning or calling into, bringing into light, I guess, like, Ichigo is slowly starting to admit it also, but like, yeah, dude, I mean, he fights to protect the people he cares about.
Yes.
But he also kind of likes fighting, and that's what he was like learning when he was fighting Grimjaw.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah.
And he needs to just kind of come to terms with, like, he kind of gets off a little bit.
You can like fighting, bro. You can like it. It's not a bad thing. Like, killing.
A different story.
I like killing. I like fighting.
And Kenpachi was trying to get that out of him too.
Literally, yeah.
Because Kenpachi loves fighting.
Loves it.
Almost too much, but not quite.
Not quite enough. Not quite too much. Not quite too much. It's just like it's teetering on too much, but it's like just right.
Right. This is when Aizen and Gin go to the real Karakura. Aizen kills Kototsu in the Senkaimon, which is going to be very important later. This is when we learn that time moves differently in the Senkaimon, in this like bridge between this pocket dimension between the world of the living and Soul Society. Time moves differently, which is why the Kototsu was there to kind of like push people out before they can take too much advantage of this like time difference. But because of this, Ichigo and Isshin are going to be there, set up shop, and it's going to be an hour in the outside world, but 3 months, and Ichigo is going to get to learn a new move. Which again, when we were talking about it off mic, when you say, look at, I get to these points when we do these episodes where, like, I feel like it takes a lot of work to record these episodes, to prep for these episodes, to read for these episodes. And we do it because we love it.
Yeah.
We do it because for me, Bleach is a series that will always be near and dear to my heart. I'm allowed to, in my own personal opinion, have my own little personal nitpicks, critiques, criticisms. It doesn't take away from how beautiful the artwork especially is, how awesome the character designs, the paneling is, and how significant it was in my life. I am just tired of people telling me I don't like something. Because because it's not perfect.
Yeah.
Because whatever. But a lot of times in Bleach, I'll just say this, and I'm saying all that to say this. It is funny when you talk about things because, you can watch other Bleach like analysis videos that go super in depth about the true nature of the Hogyoku and why they thought Urahara, thought it was to blur the line between Hollow and Shinigami because that was what Urahara's heart wanted. So that's what it was able to do, which is why he thought it did do that, but it didn't really do that. And, you could go into the philosophical, you can go into the metaphorical, you could go into the symbolism, the themes. But sometimes when you just talk about the points, the plot points, without dressing it up, it sounds pretty crazy. Like to say like, yeah, Ichigo, Aizen went to Karakura Town, and Ichigo basically
the real one with all the people
in Soul Society,
yeah.
And Ichigo, because of a pocket, in pocket dimension with altered time, was able to train for 3 months.
3 months.
3 months before he showed up to face Aizen again.
And even in that instance too, it is like a lot can happen in an hour of him training in 3 months too. But again, it might be Ichigo's situation was like, give him 3 months. He only needs 1.
Yeah, and to be fair, Ishin said a little under 3 months. That's what he said, verbatim. But yeah, it is just funny when you're explaining it to a friend, like, oh damn, so like Aizen went through the Senkaimon, he went through the portal. Yeah, he did, and Ichigo and Ishin, like, they went right after him. And
right.
It's like, damn, well, like, what happened? It's like, well, technically, Ichigo like trained for 3 months in there. He got really strong and then came out, but only an hour had passed for Aizen. I just imagine telling somebody that and then them just kind of going, okay, all right. That seems a little convenient.
Like, yeah, it is
because
convenient.
I just think that, and this is again my personal opinion. I just think that if the ultimate end goal, and I understand that he has to accept Zangetsu, he has to accept the blade into him.
Yes.
I understand, the symbolism, the themes. I understand everything that's brought him to this point. But if the end goal of that is that it's going to be this trade, this sacrifice of power, where he's going to basically relinquish his spirit energy by becoming Getsuga Tensho in exchange for physical power, I just don't think that needs, you need 3 months to do that. Like, that could have been something that did happen in an instant. He goes in to meet with, because it's an hour in the real, I feel like he could have done that in an hour, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Where he realized this in an hour and then made that deal. I don't know. It just didn't need to be 3 months like that he was in there. I mean, it made for a cool moment when he came out. His hair was kind of long.
Yeah.
Small, just nitpick, small little, just, personal critique, I guess. But, yeah. So some of Ichigo's friends are starting to wake up in the real Karakura town. This is when we get to see, and by the way, I just wrote down, Ichigo's Zanpakuto's Zangetsu and Ishin's is Engetsu. The relation between the two, I'm not sure if it was explicitly stated, but I would imagine that there's some relation because they're only a couple letters difference in their name. Zangetsu, Engetsu. I wonder their relation to each other. And it could have been stated, and I just could have missed it. But we do get to see that Zangetsu's looking a little young.
Uh-huh.
And this is explained because Ichigo is in Bankai, which is why he's seeing Zangetsu in a more powered up form. He's seeing Zangetsu the way he is. Which I like seeing a young Zangetsu, although
yeah, I liked it too.
Nowhere near as cool as older Zangetsu.
Nowhere near as cooler or hot or
not at all.
Yeah. The hotness scale went
way down. Like way crazy down.
Way crazy.
Like plummeted, crashed into the earth.
Yeah. Into the core.
Gone.
Yeah.
I like seeing it, but I hope we get to see good old scruffy, Dilfy Zangetsu again. That'd be nice. I need it. But that's when they have this exchange where Zangetsu says, like, I'm not going to teach you this move because I want to protect what I want to protect is not what you want to protect. This comes full circle later when we realize the poetic nature of this statement. But Hollow Ichigo shows up and tells Ichigo that he's battling with this fear of his own destructive impulses, because when he loses himself, like, he is giving into those destructive impulses, and it's those impulses that are a part of him, that are inside of him, and that he is afraid of, which has allowed him to, like, lose control of his holification, not be able to achieve it, and was the reason he wasn't able to land that blow on Aizen when he came through. He was, doubting himself, his power, and he was afraid of himself and his power. But Zangetsu and Hollow Ichigo, they fuse, saying, "We are your power." And then we cut away from that battle and back to Don Kannoji versus Aizen, dude. One of the craziest fights in all of Bleach, dude.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, I guess. I mean, I kind of just forgot about him, but yeah, he did have spiritual energy. I mean, he could sense things.
Yeah, but he
sure.
didn't do jack shit. Dude.
I mean, he didn't do jack shit, but he definitely had it.
I mean, he definitely had it. Yeah, for sure. He wasn't. No, we knew he had it. From the the TV event.
Exactly.
Thing.
Yeah, but it was just fun to see him kind of like stand up to someone who's even crazier than anyone else, just like Aizen, just being like, "Run away."
Yeah, I wanted to see. He did have his little brave moment.
We had him. We had Froman. We had
the whole gang was there.
Yeah,
the whole gang was there. But Don Kannoji, I wanted to see him. I wanted to see him. He Don Kannoji, he releases his Zanpakuto and he goes Bankai. Don Kannoji's like Bankai out of nowhere. He's been a Soul Reaper the whole time. He's been shooting.
Honestly, would not surprise me. Honestly, would not surprise me.
Yeah, he was sent there. Or a Vizard too. You never know.
Honestly, yeah.
JK,
Hotaka.
JK. But that's when Matsumoto shows up, and her and Gin finally have their kind of face-to-face moment, and Gin seems to, in this moment, kill her. But then goes back to Aizen, betrays him.
That was a face crack. I was not expecting that
Really?
either. I was not expecting that at all. I was like, this whole time.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, I mean, we really find out that the whole time he was trying to reverse the effects of Aizen's Zanpakuto and trying to discover how to do it.
Yeah. I mean, what did he say?
Because
the only way to escape, his whatever the powers. His Sungetsu, Kyoka Sungetsu powers is to touch the blade before the complete hypnosis has been activated. And he's like, it took decades to get that out of you. And I was like, dang.
And we flashed back.
I knew you were going to do this.
Yeah. Well, the reason, too, is because from what I can gather, right, Gin realized Aizen's ability was under this ability's power and was trying to figure out how to reverse it. And it was also seeing, as a young kid, the Rukongai, or the people in Soul Society that aren't Soul Reapers and Soul Reapers. Aizen had created a Hogyoku before Urahara. He created his own Hogyoku, but he considered it a failure, and he was basically like feeding it the lifespan of these citizens and these Soul Reapers. And Gin was seeing this all happen. He was, as a kid, like watching this all happen. He's like,
what the fuck?
And realizing as a kid, like, this is the guy. This is the boss. This is the problem.
Yeah, and I'm gonna kill him.
Yeah. And he kind of vowed to protect even Matsumoto in that moment. But he says that his true Bankai is that when his Bankai expands and retracts, it's not as fast or as long as he said it was. And we've all been there.
Yeah.
It's not always as long as we say it is.
Overcompensating.
Right. Sometimes, we walk into a room and we say, my Zanpakuto is 8 miles long. And then right before we say, actually, I lied about that. But
right before, or you say like, oh, it usually is 8 miles long. Maybe it's just an off day. Right. I can get it to go 8 miles long.
Yeah, I can.
Like,
it has to be the right circumstance. Maybe it's honestly because it's whoever my opponent is. So maybe it's kind of your fault that it's not 8 miles long.
Yeah, you're just so you're such a worthy opponent.
No, I just don't think you're worthy enough.
Oh, see, that's sad.
Well, I mean, that's because they.
You are a worthy opponent, believe me, but it's just.
No, you're super worthy.
Yeah, it's not you.
Yeah, it's
kind of. I think I need to get to know you more.
Yeah, it's kind of a compliment. It's a compliment. But that it does, that there is these shards that it can sort of implant into people, and it will dissolve their cells, which is fucking crazy,
insane.
So Gin ends up taking the Hyogoku from Aizen, but it kind of sends itself back to him because it is his now. He has subdued it. It is, he is its master.
It was crazy to see Gin's eyes open too.
Oh yeah, and Tosin's eyes too. That was kind of crazy.
That was sad.
Yeah. That's when he reveals that he created the first one, fed it the soul of countless Rukongai and other. He even fed it, like, eventually once he found Urahara's Hogyoku, he fed it Urahara's, but it wasn't satisfied. And that's when Aizen just straight up fucking kills Gin. Like, straight up. Like, there was almost no battle between them. It was just like, Gin had that one moment where he got the upper hand, or seemed to, but really didn't, and then was taken out. This is when Ichigo shows up, and he's looking pretty fucking badass, and has one of the coolest and most badass moments he's had in a long time, where he's like, Aizen, let's fucking go somewhere else. Let's take this outside.
Like, I mean, we are outside. Like, you idiot.
And he's like, and he grabs him by the fucking face and flies him away. I was like, let's freaking go.
That was wild.
Where you been, dog? Where you been, dog? You been fucking in a pocket dimension, dude.
3 months.
3 months. Let's go.
3 months.
And that's when we find out that Aizen's putting together that Ichigo sacrificed spirit energy for physical strength. And Ichigo is able to stop Aizen's blade the same way that this is a kind of cool mirrored moment, because Aizen kind of did the same thing to him in Soul Society.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. And Ichigo's just like kind of toying with Aizen here,
which is great to see. We love to see it.
We love to see
Love to see the, talking shit to the shit talker king.
Yes. yes.
Very satisfying.
Super satisfying. Because even Ichigo is able to easily break from his keto, which was awesome to see too.
Yeah.
This super high number keto, and Ichigo's just like, just
chill, stop. Yeah, he's just like, it seems like an annoyance to him.
Yeah.
And the more easier it is for Ichigo to just completely disregard these attacks, Aizen's like getting more and more mad, just like angry and annoyed that this is happening.
Right. And then we get to see Aizen's final transformation, which I like. All of Aizen's transformations, I think they look fucking sick.
Yeah,
I think even the first one, the cocoon one, was really cool.
Oh yeah, the hooded nature of Aizen.
Yeah, I liked all of his transformations. I thought they were sick.
Mm-hmm.
We get to see the flashback that, or we get to see what happened between Ichigo and Zangetsu in their battle.
What I wanted was to protect you, Ichigo.
Yes.
Drama.
Well, I mean, yeah, dude, because he needed to accept again these things. It really is just about him accepting all of these parts of him. I mean,
even if they're flawed.
Yeah. And
like taking on people's help and not just putting it all on yourself.
Yeah.
And like, not putting yourself out there to the point where like you could almost potentially die. Like you have to protect yourself too.
Yes.
And
I think that's when he even accepted and realized that too. Like, I'm protecting everybody, but I also, someone else who should be in the group of people that I'm protecting is myself.
Yeah, because then if I'm gone, like who's going to protect them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he talks of, feeling Zangetsu's loneliness too, which is mirrored again when he feels it from Aizen's blade, which is maybe why it becomes something that is so familiar or easy to feel, because he felt it recently with Zangetsu. But
moments ago.
But months ago, maybe.
Moments. Oh, I said moments, but it probably was months.
Could have been
2 months.
Ichigo then becomes Getsuga itself, Getsuga Tensho itself.
Getsuga.
He becomes the final Getsuga Tensho. He becomes this final form, which was, of all his forms, I mean, it's pretty up there. I mean, it's pretty sick. Like, I love the chain wrapped around his arm. Like, I think it's sick. Yeah. I just think that the kind of frustrating thing with Ichigo sometimes is that he's always getting new forms, and some of them I feel like are so cool, and then we never see him again.
Yeah.
And it's like, damn, dude, like, if you're going to get all these cool forms, I would like
to see him a little bit more.
Yeah, if you to be able to go through them and decide when you want to use which one. But he's just always getting stronger and stronger. That's the thing. But this is when he's able to defeat Aizen.
Woo!
He loses his powers, and Aizen succumbs to Urahara's seal. And the Hogyoku doesn't recognize Aizen as its master anymore. Urahara's been like planting seals in him, doing all these things, all these contingencies in place. And even Urahara himself is saying that like he understands the Hogyoku more. He didn't initially when he first created it, but now he does. Time has passed for both of them. So he's implanted these seals early into his sort of transformation.
Mm-hmm.
And now as it's sort of regressed because of Ichigo's strike, it's able to take hold and weaken him so that the Hogyoku doesn't recognize him as its master anymore. Aizen argues with Urahara about the status quo and not how the world is, but how it should be. Like, you have the power, you have the intellect to shape the world, yet you just live in it. And that baffles him. But the battle with Aizen is over. And this is why it feels kind of so short. Because, it was... Ichigo did not, once he, went into the Senkaimon, it did seem to be very easy for him the moment he got out. He was toying with Aizen.
Yeah.
So we cut to everybody else kind of healing in the aftermath.
Oh, yeah, and I just wanted to mention the hollow puppy.
Oh, Yamato and his hollow puppy.
Yeah.
Or was it not Yamamoto?
It
was Yami.
Yami. I was like, Yami. Yeah.
Yami and his hollow puppy.
Oh, he's so cute.
It's really cute.
Yeah.
Really cute.
Poor guy.
What do you think that means?
Don't leave your pets behind.
Like your pets will always be there for you. Dogs will always,
they're loyal, even if they're
dogs
hollow.
are loyal, even if they're hollows. Yeah.
I miss him. Cute.
You miss the dog?
Yeah.
Maybe they'll go back to Hueco get the dog, and then it'll be like, you'll have like Kon, who I miss a lot.
Me too.
And
Me too.
The dog and Kon will be like kind of best friends, and they have their own like spinoff. That'd be cool.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
Because he'd be like, fetch. But because like dogs like Bones, but he is Bones.
Yeah, and he'd be like, "You're
what the
Bones,"
heck?
and there's like a joke about Bones.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like,
It
lends itself, to even like a spinoff. I would argue
it writes itself.
Yeah, really, honestly, truly, pitches itself, writes itself, makes itself.
Yeah. But we come back to everybody kind of recuperating. Hiyori does seem to be fine. We don't see her wake up, but it's pretty much said like. It's up to her, and
she'll fight.
Shinji's like, if it's up to her, she'll be fine.
She'll be good. We're not your friends, by the way.
Well, yeah, she says that because he's thanking her for healing everybody, and she goes, "Yeah, of course, like you're my friends, like of course." And that was really fucking sweet.
Yeah,
to finally have them get that was fucking sweet.
Well, I mean, we saw that earlier. He's like, yeah, you didn't, bring Orihime, but you did bring her, so we're on good terms now.
Yeah, because they just felt like so betrayed.
They respect each other. Yeah,
they felt so abandoned.
Yeah.
They felt like fucking yesterday's trash thrown out by the system.
The system.
The system just fucking, the system that created them just chucked them out, left them out to dry. Ichigo in these final moments questions if Aizen wanted to lose his powers. And mentions that loneliness, which is again something that you felt like was kind of like, was that necessary? Did that need to be said in the final moments?
I mean, we talked about it last time where we have a villain who we don't really know anything about. He's very mysterious. We didn't really get necessarily a big flashback with him growing up or like a villain origin story. We kind of just were given this character and he was just doing things in order to become like the strongest. We know now that he didn't have an equal, he felt like. But to have that all the way at the end when he's already defeated, I wish that was like said a little bit more. And some would say it was kind of obvious, like, I kind of knew what his deal was since, whenever. But just to like, I don't want to relate to him, but at that point I was just happy he was gone. I don't really care about whether he was lonely or sad. I mean, at this point I'm like, good. Versus maybe a little bit before, like where we did get some more Aizen information, like, it would have maybe made me feel differently about the end of the fight. But yeah, just the little tidbits of, again, my personal opinion, but
Yeah, just at the very end, like, maybe he wanted to lose.
Yeah,
secretly.
it's like clearly he was like trying his hardest like to fucking kill all of
Right.
you.
But
like,
I do think, again,
it's like
that is something that is so deep within his subconscious that even he isn't aware of its existence.
he won't admit it. Yeah.
Not that he won't admit it, like he doesn't even like, well, yeah, he won't admit it, but he doesn't even know that that's a part of him. Like he hasn't like confronted that.
And I have a feeling like Aizen's not done, because if he was done, he would have been killed.
Right.
Like it's easy. It's easy to see like, oh yeah, he's gonna be back at some point because they're putting him in jail, even though he can live for
ever. He's immortal.
He's immortal, but we're gonna give him 10 thou.
20 thou.
20 thou.
Yeah.
And it's like he's gonna get out though.
Yeah. Can't say whether he will or won't, but
he's
Ichigo,
going to for sure.
Ichigo passes out. No more powers. No more spiritual energy. Matsumoto's goodbye to Gin, again, we talked about in the beginning, was very, I think, it was very beautiful and very well done. The whole "you didn't leave anything behind" moment. Ichigo then wakes up to all of his friends. Everybody's super worried about him. He wakes up to, Uryu, Chad, Orihime, Rukia, everybody. And is just talking, Rukia is talking to him about the process that's going to start affecting him, that he is going to slowly start losing all of his spiritual energy, which means that he's not going to be able to see spirits, not going to be able to see hollows, and not going to be able to see her. But she will be able to see him. She's like, don't worry, like, I'll be able to see you, and everybody else will too. Like, Orihime, Chad, they're not losing their shit. It's just you.
It's just you, buddy.
Just you. So, we'll be fine. And Ichigo kind of goes outside to tell Rukia goodbye. And we slowly kind of see Rukia start to vanish, and Ichigo look off into the distance. And that's the end of the Arrancar Downfall Arc.
What a journey.
What a fucking crazy journey. And again, we just know that this isn't the end. This isn't the end of his abilities. I mean, obviously, I doubt that even as this was coming out, anybody thought this was the end of Ichigo's abilities. Like you said, we've seen it so many times before where Rukia lost hers, Uryu lost his, and now Ichigo's losing. It's like, it ain't going to stick. How is it going to come back? Maybe that's going to be more interesting, but we just know that it ain't permanent. There's just no way.
No way.
And there is one more arc before.
It's like, how many times is he going to say goodbye to Rukia? At this point, it's like already capping at 3.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, now that we've gone through kind of everything beat by beat, I understand people's frustrations with Bleach, I think, a lot more than I ever have before. I also, don't get me wrong, I understand why people love it. I understand why it is held in such high regard for so many people, but I understand why people have like the I guess, negative feelings they have about it, because it can be a series that at times does feel frustrating, like it is drawn out, or like things are sort of just always not necessarily retconned, but taken back, and things were told to someone that weren't quite true, but now are true, but then you find out weren't true, but now are true. And everything does feel like a reveal. But I think for me, overall, like, I did feel extremely satisfied getting to find out more about Aizen, finally getting the information on the Hogyoku, finally getting the payoff, because it just felt like everything was finally paid off. Like, the payoff to what its true power was, like how Orihime and Chad got their powers, just Ichigo finally, like, experiencing that growth sticking with him and his dad. Like, all of this seems sort of wrapped up, and I like the position that everybody is in now. We know that Ichigo will get his powers back, but I like where everybody is sitting right now, because Aizen's in jail. He's not dead. The Vizards and the Shinigami seem to be sort of like on good standing again.
Yeah.
I'm just really excited for what's to come. Like,
same.
I don't want to sound like a broken record, but like these arcs like had their moments where, they were outstanding, but then they had their moments for me personally where they dragged. So just to be able to get to the next phase is exciting. I also think that Bleach is a series that just it shines in the manga because of the art. No one draws like Kubo. Nobody. I don't give a fuck. Like, he is one of the best manga artists, like, period. No one has an aesthetic like he does, a style like he does. Like, he is just like one of a kind, and he is top tier. No competition.
Yeah.
But I do think, that's why I think the manga is always worth reading, and because of the pacing and stuff like that too. But I do also feel like Bleach is a series that is elevated and can be elevated by an anime, which is why I'm so excited to not only like cover this final arc, but then to go into the anime, because I am so convinced everything I experienced when I experienced Bleach was through the anime. This time rereading it, I switched to the manga at a certain point after Soul Society, and like I said, certain things were harder to remember than others. But the height of my joy, like the most excited I ever was about Bleach, was during Soul Society when I was watching the anime, because the soundtrack, the intensity with which these characters scream "Bon Kai," or like Renji would scream like "Howl Zabimaru," and everybody would just fucking scream, and the music and the animation, like, it was top tier. It is elevated, I think, by an anime. So I am so also excited just to get to this 1,000-Year Blood War arc with new updated animation, a beautiful color palette, and just like quality with Kubo behind it, like fixing things that he felt like weren't really like strong enough in the manga.
Yeah.
It is just going to be so extremely exciting. So while this whole journey up until this point has been a journey full of ups and downs, where it leaves me, where I stand at the very end of it, is satisfied, extremely satisfied, and accepting Bleach for what it is and loving it for what it is, but more excited than ever to share the experience of getting to watch the anime with you. Like, more excited for that experience than anything else, because I think that for me is what will take Bleach from, maybe for someone like you, to being a series that you read and you enjoyed and definitely had moments of highs and lows. But I think it will take that experience and just turn it into a series that you fall in love with, like, after you see, like, just what, like, animation is able to, like, bring and add to this story, this world, and its characters. So I'm really, really excited for the future, like, so excited for the future. But what about you, Mehgan? I know I've been rambling for a while.
You pretty much said all the things I was going to say. Liking it for what it is. Again, just like before, like I've mentioned too, like, I really latch on to emotional moments and like character development through emotional moments, I guess. Or I don't want to say like, crying all the time, but I latch onto those things more. So, there was a lot of fighting to get to this point, which isn't an issue for me at all. But yeah, I know there'll be more to come, but that's not I'm excited to see it, because it is, I feel like, for the first time, like, we are getting like a new like chapter, because we're already, like 48. What are we at right now?
Volumes?
Yeah.
Like 48 maybe, or something around there.
48. Yeah, 48 volumes in, and to get to like another big bad, like, I am excited, and I am like hopefully it's a breath of fresh air for me.
And I think, I think we're both ready for that, like, the change of pace.
For sure. For sure.
Even though there will be a lot of the same, like, Bleach at its core, like, is what it is. But I think just even this new adversary, foe, obstacle, hurdle, this next chapter is like super, super exciting. And it is what it is. Hopefully, we were able to.
You don't think we hate Bleach?
Yeah, hopefully, yeah, there will be people, I feel like.
I know, it's inevitable.
Who think we hate it, but we don't. And that, I can say that I have talked about it as honestly and as openly as I can.
Yeah. We wouldn't lie.
Yeah.
To you guys, like.
But yeah, hopefully, it wasn't too hard to get through the episode, like. For audio listeners, I was struggling sometimes with this mask on, dude, and like I am feeling so much better.
Yeah.
But I'm also like, I definitely still am. I would say I'm like 95% better. So it is still like after having not recorded in a long time and having
talking
just been
for
in
2 hours
and
or like an hour and a half.
Yeah, been in that.
It's exhausting.
Been in that state of just like when you're recovering, you're just like, you're just trying to like, you're kind of like bedridden, or you're just trying to like focus on recovering. It is hard to like get back up and to get back in it with the same like, level of energy and stuff. So I just hope that, I hope that people who are watching and listening enjoyed it. And I hope that, I hope that we did our job. And I hope we did it well, because I was giving it my all the whole time. Yeah. I mean, that's gonna do it, right, Mehgan?
Oh my gosh, yeah, one more epi.
One more Dunkai epi to go.
And how many, do you know how many off the top of your head? If you don't know, you don't have to answer, but how many chapters you think?
I think it's like 50.
50
around that.
Okay.
Give or take.
Okay.
But yeah, one more Dunkai episode coming your way. I am so excited to continue reading and to rediscover what is next, and even more excited to watch the anime and experience it with everybody. Like, one thing I will say that is really cool about the anime coming back is just like everybody's love being like reignited for this series, and everybody's excitement. And that was really the goal with like wanting to go back through all of this, is so that we can be caught up and have all the context and have everything fresh in our minds for this anime, because it's kind of all been for that. Like, personally, like I just wanted to, re-experience everything before we got there. And I'm so incredibly fucking excited, man. Like, it's, you have no idea. But yeah, one more episode of Dunkai coming your way. Probably not next week, but the week after. And yeah, that's going to do it for our discussion today on the final chunk of chapters in the Arrancar Downfall arc. We're not done yet, though. Before we go, we do have to shout out, and we have to thank our wonderful, beautiful, amazing Patreon and YouTube members. Thank each and every single one of you from the bottom of our hearts for all of your support. I mean, your support is why we're able to do everything that we're able to do. And, even when it comes to Dunkai episodes, especially, like, the reason that we have so much time to dedicate to like reading, recording, editing, like all of the things that we do to put these episodes together, on top of all the other things we do, the community lives, the other like, a volume done series, we do volume 1. Like, the reason we're able to do everything and get to so many things and do so many different things is because of the financial freedom and the support that our Patreon and YouTube members give us. And so that's what just every series and everything that we do, the more, again, freedom of time and financial freedom we have, the more, we can take that time and put it into these types of videos, covering these types of series, going through them in a volume done sort of fashion, where we go from beginning to end and talk about everything that happens in the series as a whole. Like, we can only do that because of the support from our Patreon and YouTube members. I mean, and that's down to equipment, that's down to quality, like consistency. Like, I mean, we just wouldn't be able to do these things, especially at the quality that we're able to do it, and at the quality that we always want to never sacrifice. Like, the reason we're able to do that is because of our Patreon and YouTube member support. So again, from the bottom of our heart, thank each and every single one of you guys. Every single one of you guys fucking matters so much to us and means so much to us, that you give out of the kindness of your fucking heart. Like, will never stop meaning the fucking world to us. It is just something that consistently and constantly blows us away. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Even while I was recovering, like, feeling the love from the community and everybody just wishing me well and just hoping that I just recover quickly and get rest. Like, it got me through. So thank you guys so much. If you're not a Patreon member or a YouTube member and you want to become one, all you got to do to become a Patreon member is go to patreon.com/volume1pod. And all you got to do to become a YouTube member is click join somewhere next to the subscribe button on this video. That gives you early access to all of our episodes and access to our exclusive bonus Patreon podcast, Volume 1 Extra, that we're actually going to be recording right after this. It's a exclusive episode, video episode, and audio episode that you get, where we talk about anything and everything anime and manga related, but also outside of it. We talk about everything else we've been watching, consuming, doing, behind the scenes stuff. We talk about everything. Nothing is off limits in the Volume 1 Extra. They're so fun. They're more laid back, and you just get a peek behind the curtain and a look deeper into our lives. They're really fun. I mean, I love the Volume 1 Extra episodes. Like, they're always so fun. So if you'd like to get access to that and early access to all of our episodes, as well as becoming a YouTube member, you get access to special emotes and stuff that you can use in our lives or in our comments. You can get all those things either by becoming a Patreon member, by going to patreon.com/volume1pod, or to get those emotes and stuff and all those same perks, you can become a YouTube member by clicking the join button somewhere next to the subscribe button, and you get all of those things on our lowest tier at both places. But if you're not at a place in your life right now where you can support financially, or you just flat out don't want to, don't feel bad. Don't worry. There are plenty of other ways you can show your support that mean just as much to us, that you can do for absolutely free, that Mehgan will tell you all about right now.
Yes. If you cannot financially support us, no worries at all. There are so many things you could do for absolutely free. You can comment on any one of our videos, like any one of our videos, or even subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. And it really does help our channel out a lot. I know YouTubers say that all the time, but it really, really does. It acts as a free tip to us in our channel, and it spreads our videos throughout the crazy algorithm on YouTube. It could be a comment about anything, a comment, a regular comment, a comma, a period, an emoji, or become gang affiliated and do algorithm gang. And we love seeing those comments. We see so many of them, and it just like brightens my day, because you can do that to just support us, and we totally appreciate any and all ways you can help us out. We do have social media as well. We have Twitter, Instagram, and Discord. All will be linked in the description below. And if you want to go follow us on those, we post updates and retweet fun stuff. And our Discord's really, really nice. We have a lot of great community members in there, and if you want to go check it out, check it out.
Yes, any and all ways you show your support, sharing these. If you're listening to audio, leaving a review, or even honestly, dude, if you're just here at the very, very end, view duration, even if you're just putting it on, even if you're just doing something and we're on right now in the background, and you got your back to us because you're doing, who knows what you're doing. But even if we're just on, hi, even if we're just on in the back, it helps. View duration helps. For longer form videos, like, it helps so much.
Yes.
So literally and legitimately, any and all ways you show your support mean the fucking world to us. It helps us out so fucking much. So thank you for any and all ways you choose to show that support. But that's it for another Dunkai episode. One left to go. Let's finish fucking strong, because I'm so ready for that 1,000-year Blood War arc. But for now, the only thing left to do is to get out of here on our outro that is always the same and never changes, which today, Mehgan, is
bye Eisen.
Bison.
Yeah,
you like that?
Bicentennial.
Bicentennial. Why do we have to throw tennial at the end of it? What if we just go bye bison?
Bye bison.
Or just bison?
Bison.
Okay, we'll go bison. All right, we'll go bison. All right. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And until next time, bison. Later. Hopefully Eisen doesn't get out of jail. Hopefully we don't see it.
He's gonna break out. He's gonna break out.
He's gonna break out of jail.
Break out, and he's gonna be. Of course.
Really? You think so?